Here we are at the Putt-Putt Speedway. Big race today at the Putt-Putt Speedway.
They're off in a flash. I'm in a crash. The putt-putt drivers are going again. One of these guys is going to win.
There are surprises at the Putt-Putt Speedway. Lots of fun and thrills at the Putt-Putt Speedway. It's ripping, roaring, racing fun.
Putt-Putt Speedway comes unassembled with race cars, drivers made to fit them, and everything else here from Mattel.
The bank robbers are getting away. Bertie Bird Air Police chopper takes off. Headquarters has them on the screen. They're turning south onto Route 5. And you're after them. You drop the roadblock and go for a hookup. Now you move it forward, steady it, and lower it. You've got them. Now you bring them in. 10-4. The Bertie Bird Air Police comes with everything you see here from Mattel. Batteries not included.
Jamaica, the warm, exotic island in the Caribbean, has a bustling tropical city. Summery mountains, sizzling nightlife, sunny open-air markets, many beautiful beaches, and all kinds of warm, beautiful faces. Come, our warmth is just hours away.
Because so many Americans think getting drunk is fun, we thought you might like to join us in the National Drinking Game. Just answer yes or no to the following 10 questions. Do you talk a lot about drinking?
Only when I'm awake.
Do you drink more than you used to?
I try to.
Do you gulp your drinks?
Only out of a glass.
Do you often take a drink to feel better? Do you drink alone?
Only if I'm stuck.
Do you ever forget what you did while you were drinking? Do you keep a bottle hidden somewhere for quick pick-me-ups?
How does he know?
Do you sometimes start drinking without really thinking about it?
Sometimes.
Do you need a drink to have fun?
I do now.
Do you ever take a drink in the morning to relieve a hangover?
Uh-huh.
Congratulations. If you had 4 or more yes answers, then you may be one of over 9 million Americans with a drinking problem.
Coming! We're coming! Oh, thanks, man from GULAG.
Uh-oh. Here comes old Thin-Bags Blevins again.
You'd think living in this town he'd know. GULAG garbage bags are the ones that really hold the load.
That's why they're called the strong ones. Right, man from GULAG?
Right.
I thought I was going to be late for the garbage truck. No, Mr. Blevins, you're just in time. Jump right in.
GULAG garbage bags, the strong ones.
A season of light. A season of joy. A season of festivals. A season of peace. A season also to remember safety pays. Make sure your light cords and holders are in good shape and that new ones carry this label. And don't let the tree get dry.
Even though I don't spend my whole life in the open air, I try to look as if I do. I even want the color of my hair to look as healthy and natural as sunshine. And I want my hair to be silky and nice to touch. That's why I like Nice and Easy. It's got built-in conditioners, and the color looks so natural, it lets me be me. I guess that's why Nice and Easy is the best-selling hair color.
What makes Food City's countdown prices such a great value? Food City's quality. Canada Grade A beef, carefully trimmed by master butchers. A wide selection of fresh, domestic, and imported fruits and vegetables. Quality dairy products, so fresh they're guaranteed. And baked goods prepared fresh daily under rigid supervision. You get quality and countdown prices at Food City, where the cost of eating well is lower than you think.
What's up, cyberspace cadets? That's right, ring the bell. That's right, ring the bell. It's Monday, and it's time for Extra Credit with Becca Fairley.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Becca Fairley.
How's it going?
What's new?
It's a new week.
That's right.
New Extra Credit.
A new week. It's Black History Month, everybody.
It is.
So yes, it's rolls around again every second month of the year, and we appreciate that. We really do, because we got to get things, make sure things are historically accurate. And that's kind of one of the reasons I do this thing, because history, people are being goofy forever. And so the history definitely reflects that. I like older videos. And of course, it's like Becca and I grew up in two different eras. And I grew up as a Cold War baby. I watched a lot of the stuff that we're going to watch today. Actually, like the black and white stuff, I probably watched when I was in second and third grade. And if you pay attention, you'll think, you'll scratch your head. And then the others, I probably would have seen. The last one definitely seen as a kid, and I don't know, maybe a couple more in high school. I can't remember. I'm old, I got that excuse going for me. Yeah.
I enjoyed the black and white stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you actually learned something from it.
I think so, and it's like aesthetically, I like some movies that are black and white really work for me.
Yeah.
I love composition and contrast, and using gray. Do you ever see that that movie Sin City?
Yes.
Yeah, man, that's a great example of a really good use of black and white, in my opinion.
I think so too. Yeah, it was really good. That's what made it good for me.
Well, let's say hey to some. We got some people in the chat there. The Goat Man, we have been blessed. Thank you, sir. Attack Alpaca, what's up? You and the goat get along now. I don't know how that works in the petting zoo, so that's up to y'all. Judge Joshua, what's happening? That one chick, what's up? One day we're gonna find that one dude for you. Okay, that's not a promise. That's a threat. Let's see. Mitch the Ripper. I'm not a space cadet. I'm a space invader for all those who love Lady Love Crusaders. Oh, nice lyric. Slappy Get Right. What's up? And Judge Joshua, sir, I salute you. I do like the new avatar there. It's happy, and we want happy. Okay, so and the idea is to take us back to a place and time, and help us get centered a little bit, because it's like the one thing that's reflected in everything that I try to pull up, except for some certain ones, is there's like this thread of Americana that goes through it. And, you know, especially if you grew up in the United States, you know, some of this stuff will really ring home in a warm way, right? You know, because it feels familiar. So I'm going to shut up for now. But we've got 5 separate videos. They're all about 10 minutes in length. I need to move home before we do that. I'm going to move our thing. Oops, just turned it off. Sorry, didn't mean to turn it off. Check 1, 2.
Yep.
Boom. I don't know why you can't see me no more. Well, I don't know. I don't know what I did. But I made it disappear. Yeah. So when we talk, it's not going to show our faces. Anyway, you want to just roll without it?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm sure they could tell the difference between our voices. I think it'd be okay.
You think so?
I
would hope so. All right. All right. Refresh cache of current page. All right. Done. All right. Let's see what works now. Nope. All right. Whatever. Oh.
It's one boomer move a stream.
That's right. Exactly. All right. And we got Thanos. That's all we need. The snapping. All right, fist bump, fam. That's right. And with that ado, all right, we'll just go ahead and start today's video. This is all right. So this is What is Capitalism? It's from 1948, and the first 3 videos are from 1948, and they would show that shit to you in the early 60s. So I mean, you know, it was, you know, we would be watching dated shit in school, and sometimes you get a film strip of, like, you know, like stills from this movie with the audio soundtrack of the movie, right? And the teacher would, you know, have a guide to tell her when to, you know, change the the frames. Let's see. All right, so yeah, the first 3 are from 1948, and then I'll stop it, and then we'll talk about the last 2, which are in color. And that really good color. Boomer, Texas, 1996. Fucking up that internet. That's right, Duck Dog. That's right, Duck Dog. We like Duck. Oh,
yep.
Yeah. All right, and on that note, I'm just going to shut up now.
Oh, hiya, Jim.
Hi.
Well, look, we still have a few minutes before we go on the air. I'd like to tell you about the time that Eleanor and I went down to
let's save the talk. Can't we agree that capitalism is an economic system? A system for the production and distribution of things we need and want?
I won't agree to that. Not until you say something about government, too. There has to be a legal basis for any economic system to operate.
Well, it's easy to see that you have different ideas of what capitalism is. Maybe we should talk about what it is not. It is not a system of strict governmental control and planning in which a dictator or board tells people what jobs they may hold and what goods they may produce.
And it's not a system of government ownership. Let me tell you about something. It shows that the basis of the capitalistic system is private property. It happened when Eleanor and I went down to get the things for the class weenie roast. We went to Mr. Brown's store. Well, that's what I mean. Mr. Brown really owns property. All those store fixtures and the groceries in there, and, well, the whole store. It's his property, and he can do almost anything with it that he likes. We needed weenies. Mr. Brown had weenies. It's as simple as that. You might argue about his prices. Anyway, Eleanor did. But after all, he has a right to earn something for the goods and services he supplies, and he does supply services as well as goods. When we agreed to buy everything from him, weenies, buns, marshmallows, and charcoal, he agreed to give us extra service, deliver everything in his truck. And since we didn't have enough cars, he agreed to make another trip and take a lot of the kids out to the picnic. And he could help us that way because the truck is his private property. And he can do just about anything with it that he wants. That's how a capitalistic system operates. The people own property and use it to provide the goods and services that all of us need.
That's what I mean about government. Mr. Brown's very right to own property is guaranteed by our Constitution. Yes, but, well, Bill's missed the whole point of what happened at Mr. Brown's store. Mr. Brown has property, all right, but that's not what he's interested in. And he does help supply us with things we want. But that's not why he's in business. He's in business to make money. There's the basis of the capitalistic system, the profit motive. He may give service when he has to make a profit. Well, when I complained that his prices were too high, he could see those profits going right out the window if we didn't buy from him. So naturally he offered to help us out with his truck, so he could make a sale and a profit. And just think of all the others who made a profit on those weenies. Cattle growers, meat packers, shippers, distributors, they're all in business to make profit.
Of course they make a profit. And it's a good thing. That's the incentive that makes capitalism work. To give us more of the things that we need. That's the incentive that other economic systems lack.
I think you both missed the point.
Yeah, I will quote Uzi quoting Frank Zappa, weenie, 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 weenie.
It's competition. That's why Mr. Brown offered his truck. He wanted to make sure you buy from him and not from a competitor.
And why was he free to make that offer? Freedom of contract. You and Mr. Brown entered into a contract, an agreement. You agreed to buy what you needed from him. He agreed to let you use the truck. In the same way, he got the weenies by entering into a contract with the wholesaler. And he got the truck by entering into a contract with someone else. Under a capitalistic system, you're free to make almost any kind of a contract with anyone.
Freedom of contract, competition, profit motive, private property. And what do they all add up to? Free enterprise. Well, that's what capitalism is. A system of free enterprise. Well, now tell us what free enterprise means. All right. It means that you can go into business wherever and however you please. Anybody can go into any business. Any legal business, that is. But I still say you can't leave government out of the discussion. Government must at least guarantee the right of private property and freedom of contract in order that...
Wyatt, please, everybody. We're on the air in a few seconds. Good afternoon. This is Ray Bennett, acting as moderator for the Western High School Radio Forum. Our topic today, what is capitalism? We hear capitalism, capitalistic system, on every hand, on the radio, in newspapers, magazines, books, in lectures and daily conversation. But just what is capitalism? To start our forum, we will present a few candid interviews, recorded remarks of representative citizens of our town who were asked for their opinions about our capitalistic system.
Capitalism? Well, why should there be any question about it? Hasn't it given us the highest standard of living in the world?
We don't have free enterprise, just bureaucratic red tape. The government ought to keep its hands off business.
Freedom of contract? Don't know about that. We've got the union and seniority. I make a living. I should worry.
Where's all this competition we've heard so much about? Do you call these prices low?
Well, perhaps the regular I'm glad I can work for myself. With capitalism, you take your choice.
It seems that capitalism means different things to different people. Let's hear now from our town treasurer, Mr. John Howard.
We say we live in a capitalistic society. What does that mean? Well, we can point to certain fundamental ideas which we say are part of a capitalistic system. For example, private property. Individuals or corporations may own land, natural resources, buildings of all kinds, machinery and equipment for the production of goods, facilities for the transportation of goods, and the goods themselves. In a capitalistic system, these are usually private property. Another idea fundamental to capitalism is the profit motive. For the sake of profit, we cultivate the land. We build great factories to produce goods. We sell for profit. The goods thus produced, we transport over large distances, still for the sake of profit. Those who have savings often invest or lend them, hoping for a share of profit. and in so doing, help to build the industrial might of the nation. Some other ideas are basic to capitalism. Competition, freedom of contract, free enterprise. What do they mean? Could these rights exist without laws that define and protect them? Do just these few things make up a capitalistic system? Or should something more be said? Perhaps your forum will have some of the answers.
There is more to be said, Mr. Howard. A great deal more. That's why we're holding this forum. Now it's up to you. Listen, consider, discuss. This is your forum. What is capitalism?
That's a standard concept. I don't know. When people ask me what I think capitalism is, it's kind of like, it's a similar kind of thing. You own property. There's a whole trade system that's that's involved in all of it. What about you, Becca?
It's freedom of choice when I think about it.
Yeah.
You get to choose to participate or not. You get to choose to buy a product or create your own. It's all about the choice of the people.
And the state kind of staying out of that way.
Yeah.
Right?
Keep the government out of it and just let the people decide what they need, what they want, how they get it, how they don't get it. It's a natural thing.
It is. It is. All right, so we're going to keep rolling. The next video film is known as Judge the Facts. It's kind of about keeping your eyes, developing a keen awareness.
Often invest or lend them, hoping for a share of profit. And in so doing, help to build the industrial might of the nation. Some other ideas are basic to capitalism.
Oh.
Competition, freedom of contract, free enterprise. What do they mean? Could these rights exist without laws that define and protect them? Do just these few things make up a capitalistic system? Or should something more be said? Perhaps your forum will have some of the answers.
There is more to be said, Mr. Howard. A great deal more. That's why we're holding this forum. Now it's up to you. Listen, consider, discuss.
With our money.
Say.
There we go.
That comes right.
Boy, what a start. Here, Bob, this ought to be good for a banner headline.
Let's see. Football fund to be used for projector. Sports fans of Central High School will be shocked to hear... Francis, you'd better sit in on this.
What is it?
They're using money from the football fund to buy a movie projector.
This is a honey of story, but we've got to be careful. Jim, are you sure you have all the facts on this story?
You bet I'm sure. It isn't fair to take the money we save for football uniforms to buy a projector.
Remember, it's only a rumor that the football money is going to... Did you check up on that?
Oh, it's the football fund, all right. The student funds have any money in them.
Does that sound right to you, Francis?
I guess so. Anyway, I know the football fund has a lot more in it than any other school fund.
Well, I guess we have a story, all right. How did you get the facts, Jim?
How did I get the facts? Well, I went straight to the people who know.
I ought to know whether we need new uniforms. Look what I have to wear. Look at the junk. And they talk about a projector. With our money.
How much does it cost to run a projector? Well, I'll tell you the facts. It costs me around $700 a month to operate each one of them.
So it's going to take a lot more money to run the projector.
Wait a minute, Jim. Are you sure it costs that much?
Well, that's what Mr. Lawrence said. He ought to have the facts.
Still sounds like too much. Go on.
Oh, next I got some opinions on the matter. They liven up the story even more.
A new projector?
My, you children have so many things. Dances, parties, games. If you ask my opinion, the school doesn't need anything more for entertainment.
What do I think? I don't know. Anyway, we've gotten along without a projector so far. If we didn't need one before, why do we need one now?
Well, if they were going to use the track team's money, I'd sure raise a fuss. Besides, how can they afford a new projector? They say they can't afford a new gymnasium, and we need that.
And that's how it is. It's a hot story. I don't know about those quotes of opinion, Jim. How does Mrs. Richardson know the projector is for entertainment? Is it?
Mary says we don't need a projector. Folks used to say we didn't need a home economics kitchen.
Yes, and Jack's remarks about not being able to afford a projector. Would it cost as much as a gymnasium?
Well, I was only getting representative opinions.
But this isn't the place for opinions. We need to check our facts. There's so many things in the story that don't seem right.
Holy shit. They sound like actual journalists.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Why don't you see Mr. Wells?
Good idea. If anybody knows the facts, the principal ought to.
Well, all right. I guess I'd better check the story with him.
I'm glad you came to see me about this, Jim. And I agree that you have an important story.
Well, that's what we think, Mr. Wells.
And I'm also glad that you're interested in being sure of the facts.
Yes, sir.
But there's one very important fact you've missed.
What's that?
Here, this memorandum will interest you.
From Mrs. Keith, PTA. Proposal to buy a classroom projector. So that's where this got started.
Yes, but not in the way you think. Look down here, Jim.
Source of funds, PTA dues. Do you mean that they're going to buy another projector? Then we'll have 2 projectors and still no football uniforms.
No, Jim. We'll have 1 projector and a new set of uniforms. Later, we hope to buy more projectors. But there's really no connection at all between the projectors and the football uniform.
But, Mr. Wells, I heard the football fund was going to be spent for the projector.
Well, I suppose that story started, Jim, when people learned that we were investigating the cost of projectors. Somebody put 2 and 2 together and got the wrong answer. You know how rumors like that become more positive as they pass along. And they don't stop until somebody investigates and judges the facts. Now that the PTA plan is officially approved, we can announce it.
Well, thanks, Mr. Wells. Thanks a lot. I guess I better examine all the rest of my story.
Yes, Jim can profit by closely re-examining his story. And all of us can profit by helping him judge his facts. Now let's see. Although the football team is desperately in need of new uniforms, that may be true, but does it have anything to do with projectors? That's right, Jim. Irrelevant facts are of little use to us. We can collect all kinds of facts, but they have no meaning for us until we are sure they fit our particular problem. Let's watch out for irrelevant facts. Now, as to the cost of running a projector, in a theater where the owner has to hire professional projectionists and all, it may cost $700 a month to operate a projector. But does that apply to a classroom projector? Since teachers and students can run them, the operating cost of a classroom projector should be negligible. That's what we call a false analogy. 2 things which appear similar on the surface may be vitally different in many details. Watch for false analogies.
Or false equivalencies if you're debating.
Well, let's go on to re-examine those opinions. What was it Mrs. Richardson said?
A new projector? My, you children have so many things. Dances, parties, games. You want my opinion? The school doesn't need anything more for entertainment.
He sounds jealous.
Oh, there's an
Yes,
assumption.
he does.
Would you go over that last again, Mrs. Richardson?
I said the school doesn't need anything more for entertainment.
Entertainment? Mrs. Richardson, modern schools use projectors and classroom films for instruction. Well, we hear assumptions like this all the time.
I said I think we found the 3rd generation feminist in this video.
Yeah, we did.
Of course, our assumptions may be correct, but we must always examine them carefully to be sure. Well, what about Mary's opinion?
What do I think? I don't know. Anyway, we've gotten along without a projector so far. If we didn't need one before, why do we need one now?
Sounds like a platitude. Let's have that last sentence again, Mary.
If we didn't need one before...
What was good enough for Grandma is good enough for you, eh? Horse and buggy? Kerosene lamps?
Just a tip?
High-button shoes.
That's right. Let's watch out for platitudes. They don't always have meaning. A new broom sweeps clean. Sometimes. A woman's place is in the home. Well, perhaps it's best to forget our platitudes and do some real thinking. Some thinking about Jack's remarks, for example. Let's watch for the flaw in Jack's reasoning.
How can they afford a new projector? They say they can't afford a new gymnasium, and we need that.
Uh-oh. Double meanings, Jack. Will you repeat that?
How can they afford a new projector? They say they can't afford a new gymnasium.
That's enough, Jack. You're using the word afford to mean two different things in the same thought. You see, you might be able to afford a new bicycle, but would that mean you could afford a new house? Let's all think carefully about what our words mean, for confused meanings can give us faulty facts. Yes, to get at the facts, we must examine assumptions, analogies, platitudes, and meanings. We must judge the facts, for the facts are worth knowing.
Really a victory for good government, Mr. Brown? Or was it a victory for... Perhaps I can help you, Chuck.
All right, yeah. This is the guy. I love the little splices and stuff, man. That's critical to keep the accuracy accurate.
Yes.
Yeah, and this next part, all right, this is the propaganda. So it's talking about an election. It's interesting. I hear echoes in modern day times for some reason. Yes. Check it out.
I think the election was a victory for good government. It might also be called a victory for propaganda. But that would have been equally true if our opponent had won. But that's what I mean. Everybody uses propaganda. Oh, no, not everybody, Chuck. But propaganda is an important force in our society today. That's why, besides using propaganda, I've been studying it for some years. Propaganda skillfully employed to turn millions of men to a cruel hatred of their fellow men. And propaganda often persuades us to help our fellow men. The products of our factories are also known around the world through propaganda in the form of advertising and salesmanship. The study of history reveals a great deal of propaganda that has been used to fight wars and win wars. Propaganda can also be used for peace. So you see, Chuck, propaganda is important. Well worth any time you give, Steph. I see that. But how can you study it? Well, you can begin by investigating the techniques of propaganda. Here, I've listed some of the main ones. Glittering generalities, transfer, name-calling, card stacking, testimonial, plain folks, and bandwagon. You'll find these techniques used in many places, in many ways, for many different purposes. Your job is to recognize them when you see them.
My first job is to understand what they mean. What is a glittering generality?
Well, let me see. That headline you were quoting, a victory for good government. Good government is a phrase we use many times during the campaign. We said the mayor stood for good government and promised good government. But it's true, isn't it? What's true? What does good government mean? Is the mayor's idea of good government the same as yours? I see. It's a glittering generality. One of the best. There's another. Yes. And why do you suppose our opponents chose that phrase?
I guess because everybody likes a real American.
Right. And they wanted to transfer that liking for a real American to Mr. Butler.
And that's what you mean by the technique of transfer.
That's it. Now let's see if you can recognize another technique. A day or so after that poster came out, I said in one of my campaign speeches, our opponent advertises himself as a real American. I say he is unreal, unrealistic. He is a visionary, a theorist, a dreamer. He is so thirsty for public office that like a weary traveler in the desert, he sees a mirage, and he is trying to sell it to you as real. There. Now what would you call that?
That's name-calling, visionary, theorist, dreamer.
That's right. And those are very polite names.
But now I want you to listen to something else. For my collection of propaganda materials, I've made a special record of part of one of Mr. Butler's radio speeches.
Mayor Cooper asks that he be judged by his performance in office. Very well. Let's ask him who was mayor when the municipal waterworks fell into such a state of disrepair that the whole town was without water for 2 days. Let's ask him. But no, let's not. It might embarrass him.
You recognize the technique?
No, I don't.
It's a tricky one.
Is it true about the waterworks?
Partly true. That's what we call card stacking.
Partly.
Cooper was mayor when the pumping station broke down, but it was the men in office before him who allowed it to get into such a rundown condition, and it finally gave way before he could get anything done.
I see. And card stacking is choosing some facts and leaving out others, and arranging them to suit your purpose.
Yeah. Picking and choosing, and selectively neglecting to include things.
That's the idea. Now, did you see our little campaign movie?
Yes, a couple of times.
Well, let's look at it again. As an example of propaganda techniques.
It was a testimonial, wasn't it?
Yes, we used other techniques, too. See if you can spot them. Will you get the likely? Sure.
Land sakes. A body hardly has time enough. The house to clean, the washing to do, and the men folks to feed. They like their chocolate cakes, too. But I do want to take time to tell you that I've known Dick Cooper ever since he was knee-high to a grasshopper. He comes of a good, respectable family, just as honest as the day is long. And he knows our town. He's one of us. That's why I'm going to vote for Mayor Cooper, and all my friends are going to vote for him, too.
We'll stop a minute, Chuck. Recognize the technique?
That must be what you call plain folks.
That's right. You'll find many versions of the appeal based on the common man, the man on the street, log cabin to president. Now let's look at the rest of the movie.
Yes, Mrs. Hamline is voting for Mayor Cooper. Her friends are voting for Mayor Cooper. Your friends are voting for Mayor Cooper. The people know what they want, and what they want is Mayor Cooper. Don't you be left behind. Get on board the Victory Special. Vote for Mayor Cooper and ride with him to victory.
That ending's easy to spot. It's the bandwagon.
Yes, the propaganda we've been talking about is easy to detect. But a great deal of propaganda is much more hidden, much harder to detect.
That's what's bothering me. Even in a small local election, there's so much propaganda. That poster, a real American. It uses a transferred device. Does that mean it isn't true?
Not necessarily. Evaluating propaganda isn't that simple. Recognizing the technique is one step. Another step is to know the purpose. What is the purpose here?
That's easy. To get people to vote for Butler.
Yes, to persuade people that Butler is the better man, to move them to vote for him. In short, to sell Mr. Butler to the voters. You'll find that the purpose of most propaganda is to persuade people to believe something, to do something, or to buy something.
All right, but it still doesn't answer my question.
No. Your next step, and it's a big one, is to get the facts.
Well, is he a real American?
Howard Butler was born in this country. He obeys its laws. He's a good citizen. Yes, he is a real American. The same can be said for Richard Cooper. So ask yourself whether the facts support the purpose. Do they support the transfer of feeling from real American to Mr. Butler over Mr. Cooper?
No, I guess not.
Well, that's your fourth step. Weigh the facts against the purpose and the technique.
I think I understand. To know whether propaganda is good or not, whether it's true or not, I should know the purpose, recognize the technique, get the facts, and judge the purpose and technique by the facts.
But when you want the facts about live political battle, don't come to a campaign manager.
I might do it at that. But I will also go and see your opposition.
Well, that's all right. Whenever you're tracking down propaganda, get as many different points of view as you can.
You know something?
What?
I think that it might be interesting to make a really serious study of propaganda.
I find it interesting, and there's plenty to study. Here I have just a few of the many books on the subject. You can read them. You can keep your eyes and ears open for little bits of propaganda. And, of course, you can study whole propaganda campaigns. Here are a few on which I've been gathering material. Hitler and Nazi Germany had a campaign of propaganda that ran over many years. Then there's a wealth of propaganda to study on the subject of Russia and communism.
Them commies, man. See? There it is. And one component is always of propaganda is an emotional, is geared to extract an emotional response.
There's propaganda to study in our own American elections, national as well as local, and in many of the major issues on which elections often hinge.
Well, if I don't learn about propaganda, it won't be because there's no way to study it.
That's right, Chuck. Remember the techniques of propaganda, and use the procedure we out is a powerful force. So powerful that your study of propaganda is important not only to you, but to me, and to the world.
All right, now we're going to 1953, and this is the video about gossip.
Pretty clever bird, the parrot. He can actually talk, pronounce words. Of course, he has no idea what the words mean, so we never take him seriously. Unfortunately, that's not true with gossips. They use words just as carelessly as the parrot, but sometimes we take them seriously, and often innocent persons are harmed. You see, gossips don't stop to think that words are dangerous. They influence our national life, and in war, they are powerful weapons. Gossips toss words around as carelessly as parrots, with no more sense of the harm they can do. Did I hear somebody say gossiping is monopolized by women? Far from it. Anyone who uses words carelessly, especially to talk behind someone's back, is a gossip. Let me tell you a little story about a gossip. This is Marion High, my school. I'm the principal, George Eastmore. There were some people in my office this particular morning, Mr. and Mrs. Gage and their daughter, Jean. They told me Jean would have to leave school. Why? Because of the malicious gossip about her. I was shocked, and I asked for details to see if we could do something about it. We began talking, even though Jean thought it was already too late. Mr. and Mrs. Gage had opened a grocery store at the start of the term, and Jean helped out after school. Usually it's difficult for a boy or girl entering a new school to get acquainted and make friends, but in Jean's case it was easy. She's a very good artist. Her first drawing won a school award, and the prize-winning picture was posted on the bulletin board. That seemed to open the doors for her. All the girls were interested and anxious to meet her. The first friend she made was Janice Nelson. Of course, Marion High is coeducational, and the other half of our student body is always interested in a pretty, popular new girl. So, while Jean's new friend Janice Nelson was introducing her to some of the other girls, Jack Monroe and Bill Ellis, our two ranking Casanovas, were making a little bet as to which would make the first date with her. Bill Ellis made the first move. He was waiting on the steps when Janice and Jean left school that afternoon, and soon was off to a running start in the competition. Jack wasn't called the best broken field runner in Marion history for nothing. Besides, he still had some trumps in his hand. Like an open convertible, which had helped quite a few times in the past. Bill didn't know it yet, but he was about to be outmaneuvered by an old trick, the fake flat tire. Jack was well in the lead now. He drove 12 blocks out of his way to drop Janice off first. Then he took his time getting Jean back to the grocery store. Jean introduced Jack to her mother and father, and presto, he'd won. He had a date with Jean for Friday night. From the time Jack called for her and all during the afternoon and evening, Jean kept thinking to herself how lucky she was that her father had moved his store here so she could attend Marion. She was a brand new student, and already she'd won the art contest, made a whole circle of friends, had been asked to pledge the girls' club, and now here she was out with the most popular boy in school. But when they drove home, Jean began to learn a little more about Jack. His popularity had gone to his head. He was completely sure of himself, confident that none of the girls could resist him. Jean's slap didn't hurt his face, but it certainly injured his pride. He tried to laugh it off, but he was thinking that he'd have to get even. Jack didn't lose any time giving the other boys a highly colored version of the date. To regain his self-confidence and build himself up in their eyes, he added a few details, remarks about Jean, completely untrue. But then, gossips seldom worry about the truth. Now the gossip began to spread. Bill Ellis colored it a little more and passed it on. Then Christine Manners took over.
This is before they had slam books. And then, and then the interwebs,
Before the internet.
Yeah, no doubt. This is. I think this is good stuff to be reminded of,
Mm-hmm.
First, she used her lunch hour to tell the story to every girl who would listen, and that included practically every girl in the school. When she got home, she took over the telephone to call all those she'd missed. Yes, gossip spreads like wildfire, especially with the help of girls like Christine. And by the end of the day, the harm was done. Jean's reputation was ruined. The next morning, Christine still wasn't through. She'd been jealous of the new girl's popularity and talent from the start. Now was her chance. But the picture gave Jean her first inkling that something was wrong. She knew it had been torn down deliberately. She asked her friend Janice if she'd done something wrong, but Janice was too uncomfortable, embarrassed to tell Jean to her face. Everyone took pains to ignore her. She felt like an outcast, yet couldn't imagine why. Jean was hurt and bewildered. Marion High had seemed so wonderful only last week. Now it was like a completely different school. Gossip. Jean was lonely and miserable all week, but she was still hopeful that once she was initiated into the girls' club, things would be better. However, Jean had already been blackballed even before the club scavenger hunt had started. But instead of telling her, the club president had made Jean's assignments far more difficult than the other girls, hoping Jean would fail, thus disqualifying herself.
That bitch.
Not knowing this, Jean started out on the scavenger hunt as eagerly as any of the others. She was willing to work twice as hard as the other pledges to be initiated. The rest of the pledges had finished their assignments and had been notified of their acceptance before Jean returned. Now the girls were really embarrassed. Jean came back with every one of her assignments completed. What could she do next? Nothing, Christine told her. She'd been blackballed. She wasn't wanted. Jean couldn't understand. She'd done her assignments as well as any of them. Why had she been rejected? Christine said Jean knew very well why, because they didn't want her kind of girl in their club. Jean still didn't understand. Janice finally had to explain that they all knew about her, about Jack's story. Jean was stunned. How could anybody believe that about her? When Mr. and Mrs. Gage came home, Jean told them what had happened, that she hadn't been accepted by the club because of the gossip about it. She said she was quitting school. So that's the story she told me. That's why the Gages came to see me. They agreed with Jean. It would be better if she left school. But I asked them to wait. Give me a chance to do what I could. Gossip is difficult to fight. You have to go right to the source and stamp it out. That's exactly what I did. I called in Jack Monroe, asked him point blank if he was the gossip. Jack was surprised. He thought only women gossip. Men just, talk. He admitted he'd started the talk, but he never realized the harm it would do. When I had finished explaining what his loose talk had done to Jean, Jack asked me what he could do, and I told him a way, the only way. He thought it over. It wasn't going to be easy. It would be embarrassing, and we both knew it. But he finally agreed. Give Jack credit. He went through with it. His voice broke a few times, but he managed to tell them all that there was nothing to the gossip, that he had made up the story and was to blame for everything. But that wasn't quite right. I told him that anyone who listens to gossip is almost as much to blame as the person who spreads it.
Yeah, and that's something, it's like it takes a person of cowardice to do stuff behind people's back, to attack somebody publicly, and they're not being able to defend themselves.
It speaks more to their character than the person that they're talking about.
And slow down shit, and it exposing the fecal matter aspect of this whole thing.
We were going to discuss the problem in assembly, make the whole school aware of the danger, and make sure that no Marion student would ever again be hurt the way Jean was. The next day, the whole student body realized what they had done to Jean. Now they wanted to make it up to her. She made a fresh start and was soon one of Marion's most popular girls, one of our real leaders. What could have been another gossip tragedy had been a happy ending. But don't forget this. There needn't have been so much as a near tragedy if our students, instead of imitating this bird, the gossipy parrot, had instead copied three far wiser creatures, the three little monkeys, who see no evil. hear no evil, and speak no evil.
All right, and then this next one is I love the music. This is everything that me and my kidness remembers. This is like a chunk of my memory, in a good way. So, but yeah, I remember. I definitely remember seeing this video.
The boys and girls in this schoolyard are waiting for the first bell. This is Wendy Webb. This is her twin brother, Jamie. There's the bell. Let's go with them to their classroom. Good morning, Miss Jones.
Good morning.
Miss Jones is the teacher. The children are very fond of her, and Miss Jones likes each of the pupils. This is a day like any other day in class. Spelling. Arithmetic.
They didn't have Common Core math.
Yeah, I was gonna say one plus back then 1 plus 1 equals 2, and 2 plus 2 equals 4.
Reading. Music. And finally, it is almost time for the dismissal bell. Before the children are dismissed for the day, Miss Jones suggests that they review the safety rules they discussed yesterday. The 4 rules are:
Don't accept gifts from strangers.
How many of you can tell us why? The children know how important it is to remember these safety rules.
Don't accept rides from strangers.
Do you remember the important reasons for this?
Don't walk through dark or lonely streets.
Who can tell us why? The children realize that safe behavior is just as important as spelling and arithmetic.
Remember, the policeman is always your friend.
What are some of the ways in which he can help you? And so this school day comes to a close. Some children remain after school to play. Others are picked up by their parents or carpools. There are those who ride their bikes home. And some walk home. Wendy and Jamie live just a few blocks from the school. Unless the weather is bad, they walk to and from school every day. Sometimes there are interesting things to do or see on the way home from school. All children love puppies. Grown-ups know this and will usually let them pet or play with a puppy. They may even offer to give it to the children as a gift.
Don't accept gifts from strangers.
It is the next day. Wendy and Jamie are on their way to school, and they have occasion to remember another one of the safety rules. A lady in a beautiful car says she is going past the school and will be glad to give them a ride.
Don't accept rides from strangers.
Today is Saturday. Wendy and Jamie help their mother with the household chores. After lunch, they're free to go to the park for the afternoon. Their mother reminds them to be sure to be home before dark. Parks and playgrounds are fun. There is so much to do. And because there is so much to do, we sometimes forget how quickly the time passes. Yes, Wendy and Jamie realize they have been gone longer than they should have. They know their mother will worry if they're not home on time. And Wendy and Jamie do not want to upset their mother.
That whole space age aesthetic. I'm reading Duck Dog. No, it was Joshua said, oh, hold on, where was it about the fins?
The fins? I missed it.
Everlast. Yeah, fins on cars with Duck Dog were cool. Why did that go away? I know, man. that whole Astro, the space age aesthetic was so cool in designs and, some of the Art Nouveau kind of stuff was, a little weird looking, but yeah, I love this aesthetic.
Wait a minute. Jamie knows a shortcut. If they go down this street, they can save time.
Don't walk through dark or lonely streets.
That's right, children. Stay on the main street.
Remember, the policeman is always your friend.
Yes, the policeman is your friend. Always feel free to call on him for help.
Is that a Corvair?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right, Mitch. They hired people with IQs of over 100, actually. You laugh, but that's the thing, man.
That's why it's funny, because it's ridiculous.
And the calligraphy is so much better than like the earlier one. I'm just saying, there was obviously an artist that did the lettering, and then he probably penciled it in for the kids to draw over.
Wendy and Jamie have learned the safety rules. We hope you have too.
And that's all the videos we got for today. So, Becca, what do you think?
Don't speak to strangers.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I like the last video because that's something very similar that was shown to us when we were in, I guess, in primary school.
Yeah.
Maybe first or second grade. So that kind of brought back some memories. But yeah, the gossip one, that hits home.
Yeah.
Especially dealing with people on the internet. You just gotta, you never really know who people are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psychos be hiding everywhere.
Yeah. But not our chat. Our chat is great.
Our chat rules. They rule. They rule the pool.
Good people.
All right, give me 1 second. I want to try to get our... Hey, I think oh, there we go. I got our green dots back.
Nice.
Yay. It just took a nap for most of the show, y'all. So actually, that was really a fun group of videos to put together, man. And it is a great example of the old school, Cold War, part of the educational curriculum. It was interesting. Did you notice the kids talked about music?
Yeah.
And there was something else. It was music and it wasn't art. It was something else. Anyway, and I was thinking, this all been replaced with like woke theory and shit like that. Or if they do music, it's all revolving around a political theme.
Yeah. I
So
mean, our school system definitely isn't what it used to be. There's no real teaching or learning going on. It's mostly brainwashing.
right, about useless information.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand it's maybe not useless for everybody, but for a majority of the people, it's useless.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't care who invented what or when or who. Well, anyway, I'm not going to get in trouble on Black History Month because I'm a good boy. I am a good boy. So
Speaking of
Becca,
Black History Month, your boy Pat is dropping a video every day on his Psycho Rick channel.
nice. Yes, and everybody should check that out. And if you're not subscribed, you definitely subscribe to Psycho Rick. We're promoting a friend of ours. Yes. Shoot, we're at the end of the line here. We're at the top of the hour. Once again, playing that out pretty good, y'all. Just pat my own back here, tooting my own horn. You like it?
Went well. I like the break from the death and destruction Ami stuff.
Yeah.
So often.
Yeah. But you could tell that there was an anti-communist kind of theme, going through all those, but they didn't mention them hardly at all.
Right.
It was pro capitalism, and talk about what propaganda looks like. Well, why do I need to know what propaganda looks like? Because the commies are trying to fucking brainwash you, and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
50 years later, they're like, China, like, we just count our time now. 5 more minutes, we'll be there.
Yeah. Duck Dog would like a link to the last video.
To the last video?
Yeah, he said to that last video.
Okay. It's a dude called Old TV. I'll definitely pull it up while we're here. Might as well. Old Time TV. So why don't you talk about while I do this? Talk about what you'll be doing for the next couple of days. Yeah.
Yep. So I have Fairly Just Becca going on tomorrow night at 10:30 Central Standard Time, and then the next one would be Wednesday at 6:30 Central Standard Time, and then this Saturday, I think that's at 6 p.m. Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. I changed my schedule, so it threw me all off. And then Sunday. And Sunday, as far as I know, it will be Frosted Glass and Moonshock and Irate if he's available.
That should be,
has an open invite. Yeah.
Oh, appreciate that, man. I'm touched.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime.
I am
so,
touched.
and then we have Cream Stream this Friday.
See the Cream of Stream, and Saturday night. I don't know what we're doing, and I can't find that damn this is going to drive me insane. But yeah, so I don't know exactly what Excel's going to want to do, but I'm sure it's going to be fun or excruciating or both. Right?
You never know.
Exactly.
Tune in to find out.
He always comes up with really cool stuff. And then Sunday I'll be talking with the one and only MC. I saw you in the chat there, buddy. It's going to be fun. I do need your throw me your avatar in the DMs, bro, so I can get that promo poster. All right, let's just go through history, Irate. Let's do it. Let's do it. And I will find it.
MC, I'm looking forward to your interview. I like all these interviews because I get to know more about other people that I see often in chats, and it's like, oh, he's not always just making jokes.
That's right.
It's gonna be loud. Yeah. Mitch does a promo for MC's YouTube channel, and there is a warning that he does a lot of screaming, and you need to turn him down.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they weren't wrong.
Nice.
It's good stuff, MC. Good stuff.
It is. Yeah, Messiah Keck, man. What's up, dude? It's good to see you, Pair to Bear. Nice. Thank you for popping by. And this is the point, I guess, where me and Becca, we're just going to slide out and hang out and talk. Plot. Plot the down throw. The down throw. Das Untergang. Ja, der Untergang ist Gestalt. Ja, wir haben es nicht jetzt. And on that note, bad German. That's right. Get it from Irate Prostate. Bad German. Say goodbye, Miss Becca.
Goodbye, everybody.
Mm-hmm.